we were trying to get people out of that area fast, one target positions, and like the issues that the weather caused. I remember distinctly Rusty Ulmer coming up the stairs with these bears. And if you don't know who Rusty, he's one of the best that's ever been in our hunter, right? And he's just got a 0. He's found no targets, and he's not very happy. And I just happened to roll up as he's rolling down the hill. I'm dude, what have you for us? This is ridiculous.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Red, White, and Moose, the show where we talk about rifles, hunting, and other things fun going on in life. If this is your first time listening, got a couple different formats to the show. Sometimes it's just me on here talking about a specific topic. Sometimes I bring on badass people doing really cool stuff in life, and this is no exception. This guy is a great shooter, hunter, a national and regional match director, part of Hawkins Precision, and someone I'm thankful to get to call a friend, Nick, and I like to call Showtime Depperschmidt. Welcome,
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank
How's it
you,
going,
sir.
dude?
Very kind words.
Well, I like to try and build you up a little bit. But dude, I mean, so uh, I have to tell the story of where you got Showtime. So it was y'all were shooting teams at the Brownfield NRL match last year, and it was windy, and it had been coming out of the north all morning very consistently, and Nick and his teammate gets up, and I was like, all right, are y'all ready? And he looks up at the wind, and he's like, all right, yeah, let's go. And starts looking for targets, finds them all in like, I don't know, 60, 90 seconds, and tells your teammate, hey, hold like 3/10 right.
Yeah.
And it hit like 6/10 right. And he turned around looking like, oh no, the wind changed completely. And it spun 180 degrees just like instantly for the first time in the day. And just,
Yeah.
y'all recovered super well. I think that was the only shot y'all missed.
Yeah, so I've always shot team with Richard Tidd, who's our production and operations manager. And when people say at a match like the wind completely switched on me, it's like generally they're not paying attention, and they're just like it's not really that bad. But that literally at that moment, the wind flipped completely on us.
Yeah. I think you just flipped it the other way. But yeah, and I was RO in the stage, and just I watched my flag, and it was just hard this way, and then it just. I mean, in 30 seconds, I was like, "Oh God, I hope they catch this." And I mean, one shot's pretty. I mean, on a 180-degree wind swing like that, I was impressed. And then I started calling him Showtime. I was like, "Look at this, it's Showtime."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not usually at Austin Argane. I'm not usually that up, but it happens sometimes. So
Dude, he won our match, and dude, that guy is a machine. Like it's
yeah,
unreal getting to watch him shoot.
yeah. It's I don't even know how long ago when I took their JTI class. But it's been like an honor, kind of, or pleasure to know Austin and shoot with him, or take the class, or work with him on muzzle brakes like we do with Hawkins, and watch him shoot. Actually, I have a funny story from Hornady PRC this year. My wife and I were our own, and he was like, "What's the highest score on the first day or the last squad?" I said, 6 is the highest score. And he's like, "Why?" Doesn't make any sense. The targets, my positions, pretty straightforward. And I think he proceeded to shoot a 4 or 5. And just the wind at Hornady, if you ever shot at that venue, hill, it just, you got to work for every single shot. And he came off with like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he's fine. I like Austin.
Hawkins Precision provides precision hunting rifle components built to help you go further and shoot farther. From rock-solid optics mounting solutions born out of the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to their hunter bottom metal and flush magazine systems, Hawkins has a solution for your next hunting rifle build. When every shot counts, hunt with Hawkins. Guys, I've been running with Hawkins on all my rifles for a long time, from their one-piece mounts to their heavy tack rings to their ultralight rings, their bottom metals, their hunter bottom metals, and everything's been great. Next time you're getting a new rifle put together, go with Hawkins. Foundation Hunting Stocks has combined 3 unique materials, micarta, carbon fiber, and Kevlar, to create their new hybrid line of stocks. This combines the stiffness and lightness of carbon fiber with the impact resistance, toughness, and vibration dampening of the Kevlar. The micarta bedding block allows them to machine the precise inlets and seating surfaces that they're known for. Guys, I've been using Foundation stocks for years, and I love that dead recoil impulse that they have. And now being able to bring that same dead feeling into a hunting stock that's light enough to hunt the backcountry is pretty remarkable. Guys, go to Phalanx-Arms and use the code HYBRID for 10% off Foundation stocks. Lone Peak Arms provides precision rifle shooters with extreme accuracy through their actions. Whether you're building a hunting or competition rifle, their fusion or razor actions are the perfect foundation. Both actions are available in short or long, left or right configurations, and in stainless or titanium. Guys, I've beat the crap out of my Lone Peak actions in sandy, muddy, freezing conditions, and they're stainless and titanium, and they've just kept on ticking. Your next rifle you get going, use a Lone Peak, and they're available at westtexasordnance.com.
Well, dude, so it's fine. Well, and you're actually, it's probably been cold there for a little bit.
Yeah, it just started to get cold here. I think we're down in the 20s right now and 30s in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a cold front here, but it was 33 when I left the house, and it was like this is like my favorite time of the year. Just the weather, hunting, football, like I freaking love it.
It's as good as it gets right now for us. We're like, a lot of us, I feel like, started our path of precision rifle through hunting. And so a lot of guys that I talk to are like, they're coming to a match because maybe they have time at the hunt years. They want to get better on their marksmanship. And so I think most everybody we know is
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm itching. So and it's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So I've got a buddy that has a ranch south of here that we go do we call it doe drop, and it's an annual hunting trip. And when they got the place just overrun with whitetail and a bunch of animals, but so they started trying to get the numbers under control. So is just like, hey, invite a bunch of friends, let's shoot some does, just kind of a guys weekend, and it's a ton of fun. And we do it where you put a little money in, and after you shoot them, you gut them and weigh them, and then whoever has the heaviest doe wins the pot. And so it's a pretty good time.
Nice.
But so this go around, I'm gonna try and take 3 does. I'm gonna take a 6 arc, a 6 PRC, and a 22 saw.
Okay.
And so and I'm gonna try and film it, but the whole premise of it is kind of, small, fast bullets and hunting. What are you And I feel like the trend right now is very much the opposite. It's 307 PRC and big cartridges and things like that.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Like I have all of them. They're super fun, and they definitely have their place. But and I kind of wanted to get your thought, because you live in Colorado, and I'm assuming most of the hunting that you've done is Western states, where I'm the exact opposite. I mostly hunt in Texas, where it's private, and especially here, and I'm gonna assume a lot of like the Midwest and Eastern states, it's like 100 150 yard shots most of the time. What's your thoughts on small and fast versus a big bruiser, on kind of what the trend is right now?
Yeah. It's interesting. I think you probably get 5 different answers from 5 different hunters out here. I would guess most of my friends that mainly only hunt are hunting with bigger Magnum cartridges, right? It seems like we're more inclined as match shooters to shoot smaller calibers. and I think that's because we feel more proficient in the shot. I have mainly hunted elk in the last 10 years with a 6.5 PRC with a 143. I've taken more elk with that combination than anything. And so I feel comfortable with that. I also have a 280 actually that we recently built that's kind of a shop rifle that I've taken it up with. But that really doesn't big 7 so it's kinda 6 of one, half dozen of another. And I've seen a lot of moving to, like, Creedmoor's, like, 22 Creed, for deer. I wouldn't hesitate with a 22 Creed, or 6 Creed, even deer, or especially an antelope. Mainly hunt antelope, and so, I would say people are less confident with their ability to make a shot. They might lean on, like, a heavier bullet, but definitely move to lighter so I can see my shot and smaller bullets, and I haven't had an issue with that. I usually don't take a shot past 5 or 600 yards either.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I just wanted to kind of get your take on it because I mean, you live in a very different hunting world than I do, and I'm definitely like I wouldn't take a 22 Creed for an elk, but it's just something I've been taught, especially with hunting coming up. I've talked with a lot of people on, especially with a lot of us having, 1 to 200 yard shots, a 300 PRC on a whitetail isn't necessarily necessary
Yeah.
all the time. So it's just I don't know. I don't know. I like to be different, I guess.
Yeah, I know Andy, Hawkins. So he moved to Florida and, used to be a big game Colorado Western hunter, and then he got, baptized in the get the feeder out,
Yeah.
watching cameras on the property for whitetails, and he shoots him with a 22 arc. So, yeah, and his kids can sit in the barn and, take deer with a 22 arc and with a can and be super happy. Uh, so we're kind of in that boat. I wouldn't hesitate to make like a 25 saw and run out here at all.
Yeah. No, I was just curious. And I know especially match shooters are in a little bit of a different category than the average hunter. I guess more or less getting the information out there that you don't have to shoot a 200 grain or a 180 190 grain to kill
Yeah.
something well.
Well, I mean, me personally. I'm like physically not a big guy. So, like for me to shoot a Norma or 300 Win Mag just used up with a 210, like it's gonna negate my ability to see what happened downrange. Mm, Not that I mean, like, I don't know, like Rich, my teammate, would probably disagree and want people to go a little heavier, and he's a more experienced hunter than I am, and I don't think that's the wrong answer. I'm just willing to. I guess if you look at ballistic and you look at like 30-06, people trust Western hunting and a 6.5 the energy pretty close with the velocity, in this range. I mean, bullet weight's gonna win always, but, it's pretty close to probably a normal hunt.
And I mean, and there's not a right answer. I mean, I like them all. I have a Norma getting done right now. Well, so that's so then I'm going from the doe drop. I'm going to go do my hunt. This is like my one chance to go hunt for the year. So I'm stoked for it. But I'm taking a 25/7 PRC um that I think will be stupid fun. And I ran it at Clayton's match this year, and I had to slow the 138s down to be under the speed limit. And so I think I'm gonna take the 133s, the 133 burgers. I should be like 3300, 3325, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it should be fun. But I do have a Norma. I'm picking it up in a couple of weeks. But I built a Norma like hunting setup that I think will be a freaking blast. I don't know what I'm gonna take it on yet, but
Yeah.
I told Clayton, you met Will and Andrew Bivens here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince them into shooting Clayton's NRL match next year with all of us shooting Normas, just for fun because it'll make open heavy. So I was like, it could be a good time.
Yeah. That's what Adam Culinary does. And usually does pretty well. I think for me, I don't know if I do very well with it. But we have one of our guys in the shop that also practices as a gunsmith. His name's Ty, and he runs the normal on like everything. And he's just like it's just the boss and it's in charge, and you shoot something and it's down. And I don't.
He's not. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It quickly become one of my favorites. One of my buddies was texting me earlier this year, and he was like, "Dude, what do you?" He's, "I know you shot a Norma a little bit. What do you think about it?" And I was like, "Dude, it's like a Sixth Creed on steroids." And he's like, "Okay," and I was like, "I mean, you're running the same speeds, but with a 215 instead of a 103." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he got it built, and he was running 215s at like 30, 60, and I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty freaking slick."
It's gonna do some work. There's no doubt. Maybe because I actually came. I was kind of like we talked about. Most people started hunting. I was the opposite. I started competing before I really started hunting. I didn't start hunting until later in life. Just with timing, and it was not something my family did. And so I started off shooting a 6x47 actually. Speaking of 6 millimeters, because that was a Dave Preston ran, and he won the PRS. I figured that's got to be good enough for this guy. And so I came from that side and got efficient shooting anyway. And so I kind of never started with like a 300 Win Mag hunting rifle that my dad had because he never hunted. So I never got the taste of the Win Mag 12. And
Yeah.
um, I always gravitated more towards more shooter friendly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's more like the reason I like talking about it is because they are so shooter friendly. And for the average guy that, if you do grab, a box or two of ammo a year to go out for hunting season, chances are you're probably not getting the reps, to be super proficient with that thing. And which is fine, but you might as well be comfortable and have fun with it. If you can, make the shot, put it where you need it to, it's just a more pleasurable experience. It's more fun.
Yeah. And I think that's why.
Raven Rifles produces artwork that shoots. Their custom lurk Cerakote pattern provides depth and color that most patterns just dream of. From Snow Wolf to Copperhead, you'll be able to blend in wherever you end up. And their limited release rifles truly are a functional work of art. They're available in limited numbers and guaranteed to catch your eyes. I absolutely love the lurk pattern. I've had it on my Really Right Stuff tripod for a while and getting most of my rifles redone in it right now. If you want to see more, go to ravenrifles.com. One of my favorite things being able to do with it is being able to have a rifle and be able to switch from something, say like a 22 Creed to a 6.5 PRC in the field with just a barrel and bolt swap and no barrel vise needed. Guys, check out West Texas Ordnance and their switch leg system. Alpha Munitions delivers the brass that top shooters trust. Their proprietary OCD technology represents the first major advancement in brass manufacturing in decades. Engineered to provide unmatched consistency and strength, with OCD brass, shooters experience less plastic deformation under identical loads, resulting in extended brass life, superior pressure retention, and consistency across multiple firings. Alpha Munitions sets the gold standard for precision rifle brass, crafted for those who measure to the thousandth and weigh to the kernel. Guys, I use Alpha Munitions brass in damn near everything I do. I use it for competing, for hunting, in my business. I love it. From piece to piece, lot to lot, cartridge to cartridge, it's been fantastic. Guys, go use code MOOSE for 10% off at Phalanx-Arms on Alpha Munitions Brass. Botnia Solutions makes unbelievably high-performing muzzle brakes. Their brakes use low ground blast angles for a reduced dust signature, controlled gas exit design for a smooth impulse and stable recoil, and upward-facing ports that apply downward force without introducing disruptive vibrations. I absolutely love my Botnia brakes. I've been running the Maxi and MIDI on my PRS and hunting rifles and couldn't be happier. If you want the most out of recoil control, look no further than the Botnia brakes. Use code Botnia on phalanx-arms.com for 10% off.
I mean, I could say I know that's why 7PRC has gotten so popular, because it is a really good blend of everything. Heavy bullet, manageable recoil. I mean, the 7PRC, I always, when I have the opportunity to talk to the guys at Hornady, I always thank them, because when they introduced that, they sold a lot of rifles, because people kind of saw the capability. And I guess I'll say this, we did a reloading on PRC before we were the launch. We were fortunate enough to be part of it. And I didn't have any data from Hornady available. And so I built out this, I think we talked about it just yesterday, actually, but like my load data is over the max from Hornady's load data because it just didn't exist. Like people have kind of, there's been a lot of talk about 7PRC and it wasn't as fast as what it was supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. So we have some data that's over that. We've had some discussions about taking it down because it is over, the max. You can get decently heavy bullets at a good speed with it, manageable recoil. If you're a reloader, you can push the limits you want. Hand loader are completely sufficient for hunting elk. People get tied up about how fast the bullet needs to go, but the bullet weight is really a lot of the energy. Even like a 175 at 28, whatever, 20, nothing likes to get hit with a bullet. Like it's still gonna drop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, it's funny because I was getting ready to build. I wanted a grab, do anything hunting rifle that, midweight, just whatever. I could go hunt whatever I wanted with it. And my original plan was I was going to build a 28 Nosler just because I wanted a good 7mm bullet. And then the 7PRC got announced, and I was like, "That's perfect. That's what I've been looking for." Yeah. Got it built, and I try to kind of keep saying what you're saying. People saying like, "Well, it's not as fast. It's not a 3,000 feet per second cartridge." I mean, sure is marketing things saying that like in it being different, whatever. But my thing is, okay, it's most guns, it's going to run, low 28s to low 29, somewhere in there, depending on setups. I'm like, that is in my opinion, one of the coolest do anything hunting, middle grounds, because like, if you want it faster, you have the 28 Nosler or some, a couple other options, but you're going to get, more recoil, less barrel life, and where the PRC, you can push 175, 190 pretty easy in that, not break your shoulder off kind of recoil and still kill anything you want with it. I love it. And you get some good barrel life. I love it. I think people like to knock on, I mean, that's you kind of hit the nail on the head. What is 75 feet per second difference due to something or data or, energy, or it's very, very, very minimal.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I've run my 280 Ackley at like 2650, and it's kind of just a couple of factors. The powder I'm using, 4831 shortcut, and the bullet is heavy. And I kind of stressed about that last year when I was frankly kind of rushing to get ready for an elk hunt. I was able to take an elk on a late season January cow elk hunt. It was just fine. I think we took like a 500-yard shot. And I thought what was interesting is then this year I was helping a friend of mine and his son had a youth elk hunt that we just went on. And he had his 30-06 out, and he had a box of factory ammunition, 180 grain. No one would think anything of it, right? And he never chronographed it and had taken deer with it. It was 26 out of his rifle. He had no idea, right? He just been killing stuff with it for forever, right? And never thought anything about it. Never worried about the speed. And so, it just got it done.
Yeah, no, and like I said, and I just think it's interesting. I mean, I like to hunt with all the big stuff, all the little stuff, and everything in between. But I think I don't know. I just like picking people's brains about it. And with hunting season kicking off, it's I've been talking about it way too with way too many people.
Yeah. I have a friend that I hunt with a lot that's not a match shooter, and we had met a local outfitter. Long story short, for a dinner one night as we were passing through to go hunting, and he's like, "You guys talked about bullets for like an hour and a half. That's it."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, sorry about that. That can happen.
Yeah, it's fun to nerd out. But do you ever watch Real AF, the podcast with Andy Frisella?
No, I'm not familiar. Sorry.
So it's one of my favorite shows, but he owns First Form, and they recently released these Form energy drinks,
Nice.
but they always make a joke. This flavor is called Screamin' Freedom, and they made a joke that, have you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Where they drop the bomb. He's like, yeah, when you open the Screaming Freedom, you got to go big ass titties. That's the rule. So
That's the rule. Let's do this.
They're freaking good. But okay, so this year, changing topics a little bit. So this year was both of our first year directing NRL matches, and I was talking mad shit trying to beat y'all because you sold your match out in, it was like 24 hours or 25 hours or something insane. Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It's like so cool to see. And I was talking to him, he's like, yeah, registration's open. It's like a few days before, then it sold out in a day. And I was like, all right, I gotta try. And I was trying so hard. We definitely didn't do it in 24 hours, but
yeah.
it was. So how was it? I mean, how was the match? Well, I heard it was great, but what were your thoughts on it, of, now that you've had a few months to sleep on it?
Yeah. So I have a buddy that shoots a lot. I shoot a lot with him. His name is Luke Staff. You probably met Luke in the PRS side of things. He's like, you never say anything good about your matches. So I feel like I'm always overly critical of what we've done. And so I do this with Caleb Connor. He's become a very good friend of mine on his property in Larkspur. And so I'll try not to be like, we have so much to improve on, but we do have things to improve on. But we've been fortunate. So our match locations between Denver and Colorado Springs. And if you know match shooting, a lot of times the locations are in not easy to reach places, middle of nowhere. This piece of property is 525, a major highway, and it's between the two biggest population centers in Colorado. So we're really fortunate. It's a beautiful mountain at like 8,000. And so we worked really hard on having actual blind stages, kind of came up this hill, and it actually gained line. I think, and I know for a fact the match harder than we anticipated. We've done about, I think we talked, we've done about 90 PRS matches in the first 2-day national level search. I always try to err on the side of it being easier, but I think it's always harder than you. And sometimes in NRL hunting, you can kind of clean the stage, just standing in the staging area, and we really wanted it to be as blind as possible. We succeeded in that. We did get snow on Friday and Saturday, and we had white placard with black letters, and they were not happy.
I did hear that was pretty tough.
Yeah, so it was hard. On Saturday, it was.
That's beyond your control, but yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can plan for that. It's early February or early April in Colorado. It's either going to be beautiful or it's going to be snowing, right? And so we definitely could have improved there. The location is pretty rugged, and so like giddy. Like I think you guys did a really great job. And even though I was registered for your match, I didn't make it. And the first time I ever missed a match, actually, in my entire life, in like 10 years of shooting matches, I had a plumbing like
Yeah,
a
totally
hour.
understandable.
And so, like, I feel like you guys and did a really good job of having the Yeti cooler, and I think we have room to improve there is like conveniences for shooters. But I think like the target finding and like the locations and the property were really good. And do really well with again next year. Just like those little things that take the events to the next level, like are hard and you don't anticipate sometimes. Um, and like we'll do a better job at hitting it this year and make it like so it's on the last weekend of the year, so it's in June. Like well, I'll assume there's pretty strong registration for people trying to get points or location, and we kind of want to make a true Colorado hunting situation, but not just like we don't want to beat any. Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I will say this: after that match, I will never complain about a match ever again in my life because a 2 day was like so ramped up versus the 1 day. It's mind boggling. Time and effort that goes into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that was gonna be my next question was so what was your favorite part or and what was like your least favorite part or what caught you by surprise the most?
I would say my favorite part was so how we did it, and I took a lot of guidance from Colin Fosson, who's been doing this a long time in Wyoming. Andrew will like one guy will set up on the hill and one guy will be down setting targets and they kind of set up pins and everything. And I think Caleb and I were out there for a week setting and we reset half the map after we had set it because we weren't happy with it. That maybe not sounds like a lot of fun, but after we did that, we shot the course with fire. That was a lot of fun, and we were really excited. I think if we wouldn't had snow on the R day and on Saturday, people would have had like an overall better experience because the placards would have been easier. But like setting up the course was a lot of fun.
That's not what I would have guessed you would have said. Yeah, I mean that is cool. Okay, so what was your least favorite? Or okay, I'm gonna break it up. What was your least favorite, and then what surprised you the most?
Yeah, my least favorite was so Saturday morning, like so you like so I really enjoyed setting the course of fire, and then to watch it unfold throughout the day. Like on Saturday morning was like probably the most stressful moment of my maybe not my year, but close because we had stage 20 and then you had to walk down to 10 and there was this turkey. And if anybody shot that match, they know that turkey because it was impossible to find in the snow. And it turned into this, like it turned into a logistical issue. And we were trying to get people out of that area fast. One target positions and like the issues that the weather caused. I remember distinctly Rusty Ulmer coming up the stairs with the Bears. And if you don't know who Rusty, he's one of the best that's ever been an NFL hunter, right? And he's just got a 0. He's found no targets, and he's not very happy. And I just happened to roll up as he's rolling down the hill, and he was not angry, but he
Not
was like,
happy.
"What's going on, dude? What have you created for us? This is ridiculous." He ended really happy with the course of fire and have some time on it, and then it not panning out how you wanted to was tough in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so that that was actually my least and most favorite thing about ours as well. So ours ended up being more difficult than anticipated as well. We wanted it to be hard. The wind like we had 30 plus mile an hour winds by the end of both days. I mean, it was pretty rough. But going around and talking to everybody, it very quickly became evident that it was difficult. And as it went on, I'd check on hey, how's it going? What y'all need anything? And people are like, Mike, you're such a dick. Like this is so hard. And like and for a little bit, like it was really like wearing on me. And then I had a bunch of people like were like, yeah, but to be honest, like it's hard, but it's very straightforward, and like it's not like it's fair, and I get what you were trying to do with it. And like that was like my favorite compliment that anybody gave me. I was like, that's what I wanted. Like it if it's hard, like I didn't want it to be hard just to be overly hard, but if it all
Yeah.
makes sense, then so like I get it. Yeah, that was my thought too, is like, oh my God, I'm never like if I ever ask another match director for a favor, I really, really am gonna have to need that favor.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I always try to err on the side of it being easier than you expect, because whenever the timer goes off, like a little bit of your brain power leaves your brain. Right. And so me shooting the course of fire, proofing it, yeah, it's probably gonna be easier on me because I'm just like hanging out, right? And no stress. And hopefully a lot of people shoot like that in general under time. A lot of stresses a lot of people out to be under time. And so like that was hard. What surprised me, I'm trying to think of like what really surprised me. I think maybe there was one. There's a gentleman I know, Silas, and he'll always be very frank. And he came after the match and he said it was the best match I've ever shot in my life. And he's been doing it. I have. And that surprised me after my Saturday. It was kind of like, you're like living this, like roller coaster out there. Um, and it also, what's awesome about, I'll call it the community, and that's NRL, PRS, this bolt gun precision community, is it was pretty miserable out there. And I've shot miserable matches. You probably shot in miserable matches, but people's ability to hang in there and fun outside all day in the snow and the fog, raising trying to range targets with white placards, and for the most part, stay positive or shooting the rain or 30-mile-an-hour winds. And that's what always surprises me about this group is like they're just willing to go through it,
Yeah, just embrace the suck and figure it out.
Yeah, and figure it out. I mean, just like that this like must be a type of personality that we all share, that we're just like, yeah, this sounds like fun today. I'll get up at 3 or 4 and drive 2 hours to wherever and shoot in the rain and or rain and wind all day.
Right.
I want to do that.
Yeah. No, maybe we're all just that kind of special.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, and then y'all have been hosting regional PRS matches for a long time in a big club. What do you call your Wyco? Is that the
Yeah, there's two things. So there's YCO, which is like that's like they call it a beer league, and that might be like marginalizing it a little bit, but it's 4 or 5 matches in Wyoming and Colorado, and we have like a weekly matches in a series from like the spring until actually Colin Fawson and I did the finale in there this year, in the late fall, late September. And yeah, so like that's the league. It's not a PRS thing. It's its own thing, even though we do PRS matches as well. Like um that's one nice thing if you upload the course for both. It's not a big deal. But then Pikes Peak Precision is the Colorado-based club that it started as monthly at the Fort Carson Army base at Bering. They've had some access issues over the last few years. And so that's when we transitioned over to using this large scale location. And that's when I was lucky enough to know Caleb, lucky enough to get access for us. And so now we do about 4 matches a year. 100 guys for
Yeah,
one day.
which is awesome. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never fails. Like I always see like a Wyco t-shirt or something at a match, or like it's just y'all have like a little bit of a cult club up there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good guys to shoot with and fun, and we take it seriously, but not too seriously. And there's a few of those guys that travel, around in general. So I've traveled less this year for shooting. Yeah, you'll find a white coat guy somewhere for sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, so um you got any hunts coming up?
I have one left. They have a third season deer hunt um up at near Glenwood Springs. I'm forgetting the unit right now, off the top of my head. Yeah, buck tag. It's it's known to be a unit that's like you can get a tag for pretty easily. It's pretty hard to get up in there. If you've ever driven Cameo from Denver, right?
Yeah.
You go through Glenwood Canyon, it's like big steep, and then you get into Glenwood Springs where the hot springs are and everything. And so you're driving down you're up to these mountain bluffs and everything. So when it gets snowy, late season deer, like there's some good deer in there, but it's a lot of work and we tag and the places I generally specifically deer had some bad winter kill in the last probably 3 or 4 years. And so we're actually kind of just lifting this unit out for the first time this year.
Wow. Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know how it goes. Dude, we went. I did my first Colorado hunt a few weeks ago. We went for bears, and I don't know what it was. Like, I mean, I had a ton of fun. It was both of our first. It was both of our first trip to this unit, but dude, we just didn't see anything, and we covered so much ground, and we found a bear the last day that was probably 40 pound. I will say, my God, Colorado has like the most beautiful terrain, and you could drive for 5 minutes and it looks like you're in another state.
Yeah.
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's it's interesting, especially for bear. I've not hunted bear a lot, but like I actually haven't seen a lot of bear hunting elk or deer or whatnot. It's like you can get into them all of a sudden, but then other times it's like there's never see one, and we have like a bear population issue right now where they're assigning bear tags to people with elk tags. So if you run across one, just like smack it down. And
Well,
so
yeah, and it was I mean, we found sign everywhere, but actually seeing them, that it was tough.
it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I'll definitely go back and do it again. I'd also like to. I think maybe trying a different unit. That unit was so freaking big. It just kind of made it. It's. I don't really have the time to go scout ahead of time, and so just it was just so much area to try and figure out.
Yeah, and you run into that a lot. I feel like here because we're lucky. We have a lot of national forest land, BLM land. That's unique in Colorado, and so I guess a good example is we were hunting this youth elk hunt probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were really having trouble just finding out that it found elk during muzzleloader season, and we get there all excited. There's trucks everywhere. It's like a pumpkin field out there. They've blown all the elk out, no doubt on it. Or before when they came in, there was no way there was going to be elk rivers hanging around there with that many people there, right? And it's like, and we went to another spot, and then another spot. We spotted a nice pool, but it was on private. And it was just kind of like we were just bouncing around everywhere, and they were mostly newer hunters. I don't know how I was in the hunter in the group, but and I was like, yeah, the places that we've hunted, we really tried to stick with them to learn because there's so much ground to cover. Sometimes in these units that you've really got to almost takes 2 or 3 years to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we ran into a couple people, and that's what surprised me too, is like when I was reading about this unit, it was just saying like, it's crazy how much pressure there is. It's like so many people come hunt it, and then we saw a few people, but not many. And then we talked to I think two people, and they were locals, and you could tell like how much work they had put in to like figure out that. I mean, they do it year after year after year, and
Yeah. It's tough. And Colorado's really the front range. I mean, if you're from here, you've been here recently, driving through Denver is like a nightmare, and there's just a lot of people. And when COVID happened, people are trying to get outside, and so we gained a lot of hunters, which is awesome. And I am by no means complaining about adding, gaining people in that, you know, in that realm. It's just busy. So almost learning the unit is like hunting the hunters, not hunting them. I'm not saying like
But yeah, figuring out what works and where people are putting pressure and
yeah, like where are they going to be at? You're like you're more work. Like sometimes if it can feel like you're more working around the people and trying to find animals is like because you figure if you're working around where they are, the animals are going to probably leave or not. I'm trying to figure that out.
yeah. But okay, so with hunting, so I've got two guns getting wrapped up, and I'll talk about them in a second. But you were telling me you've got a new gun that you're doing a 22 arc in. Let's
Yeah.
see. Tell me about that and what kind of you're playing with it and what all you're doing.
Yeah. So, pretty fortunate to be in the industry and know people. And so sometimes you get a wild hair or you're working on something. And we had been working on a 22 arc reloading article like we did for 7PRC for Hawkins. And Andy needed his rifle back, and I was kind of bogarted it. And so I just kind of started this build to work with it because I kind of shooting factory ammo in the 22 arc, gone out and to a prairie dog field and just like killed way more prairie dogs than I ever have, and it was lots of fun to shoot. And I was like, all right, I need this. And so we had some actions on hand at the shop that I built it off of, but we had a American Rifle Company coup de grace action, the Manners LR8 with the night vision bridge, obviously our Hunter bottom middle, and our Grendel magazine, plus 4-round magazine. I have a very interesting barrel actually. I'm really looking forward to shooting it at shot last year. Shaw barrels and titanium barrels, which are steel cores with a titanium sleeve, like much like you get in a carbon barrel. So they're light, but they're also carbon. They're titanium, and they were talking about like the material properties and thermal properties and whatnot. So I picked up one of those and a 20-inch barrel. Planning on running a compressor on it, 5, 3, 8. Then I'm planning, and I'm still trying to figure out the thermal side of the whole thing. I would like to, a couple of the Waikato guys have been hunting coyotes at night in Wyoming, and I'm fixing to join them. So I just did what I do for thermals.
Heck yeah, that is my next thing. I really want is a thermal. I've used them a few times, and then I went. We did a West Texas Big Bobcat competition here this year, and borrowed a buddy's IRA, and oh my god, it was so cool. I want one. I was just like, how good? Like if I think if the average person knew how well you could see at night,
Yeah,
it would freak them out a little bit.
yeah,
But I mean, they're just so freaking cool.
yeah, and it's a big purchase, right? And so there's a lot to digest as far as do you want a scope or a clip on? Um, and so I've been talking to IRA a little bit about it, because they were looking at some of our scope mounts. So Travis Stevens at TS Customs chambered up the barrel for me. I was at the Impact Foundation match this year, and he had a price shirt on the table. I had the barrel blank like $500 off work, and I was just like, "Ooh, 22 arc." And so Travis chambered it for me, and he's a big coyote hunter, and I don't know why. Also, Pierce shooters won't take towards coyote hunting, but it's a big thing too. And I was just like, all right, I got to get in on the. It's like too much fun, and so I have some to make on the thermal side of it. I'm going to do a scope or a clip on or the benefits and disadvantages of because it's kind of a growing world right now in precision hunting.
Yeah. I had so I took their oh my gosh, I'm blank. Rico 2. It's like their small clip on.
Yeah.
I took that for just like scanning, and it was awesome. And then I used their bolt full scope on this 6 arc, and I loved it. That the bolt was cool, really really cool. I was actually really impressed with it.
Yeah, it seems like having a laser rangefinder with, like, a ballistic calculator in there is pretty much is, like, the standard or the norm. And some have it, some don't. And then, yeah, like, having I was even wondering, like, well, how do I even see when do I have to be on the gun all the time, or do you use, uh, like, a handheld unit? It's all super new to me. I mean, we've hunted coyotes during the day, but, yeah, at night is kind of a whole different dimension.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and it would that trip was fun. I don't I've hunted coyotes a few times, nothing crazy, but this was a fun trip. And for my day gun, I took a 22 Creed, and I got my farthest shot on a coyote. It was like 411, and there was another coyote that one of the other guys had shot, and we were watching it, and I just happened to look up, and this pup, you could see from like his shoulders up in the grass just staring, and I was like, I think I can do that. And dialed it and shot, and he fell, and I was like, okay, I got him, and walked over there. And it was one of I don't know if I could do it again if I tried, but it hit like dead center of his neck. I mean, like what would have been perfect above the grass. I was like,
Yeah.
that's freaking. And it was the 75 ELDMs, and they rocked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've become a big fan of the 22, like the fast 22.
Yeah, the 22 Creed is exploded,
Yeah.
like, exploded. Everybody I know that just loves them. Like, I'd probably have a 22 Creed on this setup if I wasn't kind of working on something for work, right? And the arc is a little different, and frankly, we're hoping that it brings some interest because it is unique and full gun, but it's like a lot of the outdoor well, speaking of 22 arc, a lot of the outdoor life guys that I've with and we talk to about the projects they're working on are messing with arc right now. But I would say, like, as for popularity, the 22 Creedmoor is, like, king right now in that, like, garment world.
It's awesome. We're getting ready to do. I'm gonna launch a full line of 22 Creed ammo. I'm hoping by the end of the year, if not the
Nice.
first of the year. I absolutely love it. And then I just got a 22 saw done um from Clayton,
Yeah.
and did a so Dan's helping me. He's doing all the Cerakote on it, and he's gonna help me do a quick load workup to take it hunting. But I'm gonna try the 62 VTs, and
Ooh.
I think I should end up somewhere in the 34s, and it's a 16 and a half inch barrel. It should be pretty wicked. I'm kind of stoked about it. I think it should be stupid fun, and I think it'll kill a doe at 100 yards pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, be that sounds awesome. That's the fun of reloading is doing stuff like that. We have some VTs for this arc that we'll be working out, but I do like those 5 ELDM. ELDM's gen pretty deadly.
Yeah. Well, and that barrel is my test barrel. It's a 26 inch. So I'm running them at like 3450,
Oh,
and
wow.
I mean it's stupid. But yeah, so I'm stoked. You'll like these. So I've got one gun. So it's the 22 saw, and I did it. I think it's a CRB Hunter. Did the new Ezekiel with the night vision bridge.
That's the jam.
Yeah, I freaking love it. Y'all's Hunter bottom metal, and let's see, then that one I moved my impact over to that, and then y'all's heavy rings, and then I'm gonna put a Collis 540 on it when it gets in. This 328 is gonna go on it, and then essentially just a bigger version of it. And I did an Ezekiel, y'all's Hunter bottom metal for a Norma, then a Lone Peak 338 titanium which I'm freaking stoked about.
Nice.
And then a Norma, and then I switched like I wanted eventually I'll get a 338 Lapua barrel, and then I wanted Clayton does a 7 300 Norma improved that I think would just be insane.
Yeah.
They did a like a 30-inch barrel, a 30, I think it was a 30, and they were running the 195 EOLs at like 3,300.
Wow. Those are gonna be great setups. Yeah, my hunter rifle, actually Clayton chambered my NRL hunter rifle at West Texas Ordnance. And it's on that Ezekiel night vision. We got pretty lucky at shot. That was when like the first couple came out. Like John Kyle was like bringing them around to people and having them at the booth. And when he would run off the people at the booth, and him and Amy, um, you know, were flying, and we had a crate and a booth and blah blah blah. And at the end of the shot, he was just, I don't want to take all this stuff back. Just throw it in your box and ship it back to Colorado, and let's figure it out later, right? And so we got back, and he's like, well, what do you want to do with these uh, with these stocks? I was like, I'm really fixing to keep them, John Kyle. Out. And so both Rich and I, speaking of NRL Hunter and Ezekiel's, we both run those stocks in NRL Hunter. Those were like one of the first three. We have two of the first three that ever came off the line there. So yeah, really great stock. Yeah, I had Clayton Chamber up a barrel for me, and that rifle's been just a hammer.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. They finished the stocks for me a little bit, or I don't know, probably 2-3 months ago, and I've been waiting on barrels. And Dan's has everything to do the Cerakote, and it finally everything's. The only thing I'm waiting on is the Norma barrel, but everything else is done, and I'm picking them up in like a week and a half, and I'm freaking 22 saw is going to be. He calls it Snow Wolf, but it's like an Arctic camo pattern, and
Nice.
I think it's going to look really good.
Yeah, that'll look great.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. But okay, so and then obviously, a big part of you is you work at Hawkins, and obviously want to touch on that. On anything new or exciting that you want to talk about, and for those that don't know, Hawkins was recently acquired by TriggerTech, another awesome company, and I'd love to hear a little bit on that too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been a frequent question on the TriggerTech side. Yeah, so we got acquired by TriggerTech in July. I mean, it had been, those things happen. They take a long time to happen, right? So it had been in process for a while. One of the great things about Andy is he's very communicative, so it wasn't like a shock to us. On like as far as the leadership teams, I'm the sales and business development manager. I met Andy through matches. We doubled the company the first year I was there. Um, and 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 through that whole process of him like growing it, Andy's a machine by trade. He's now our head marquee at Hawkins. He stayed on after the acquisition, but this got bigger than he wanted to. Manage. When you're a business owner, you're not just like doing R&D. So you're working on HR stuff, interns, all these things to think about if you're not a business owner, right? And so he was just ready. It was a good time, and we got extremely. Maybe it's not lucky because he did pick a good partner, or a good company. Um, but TriggerTech has been awesome. I can't stress after being at the facility in Mississauga, Canada, like, how nice facilities are, how like expertly machined and crafted and assembled and tested those triggers are. There's probably someone that has had a through regardless of any, and I think that's just a function of you know stuff happens. But like I can say with 100% certainty, the way those triggers are crafted is amazing. Uh, and the guys there, at TriggerTech have been awesome during the acquisition. We're still learning things from each other, and they're a really team that's been good to work for.
That's awesome. Well, and Hawkins is a sponsor of the show, and Nick's a friend of mine, and I've loved Hawkins for a long time. I've got trigger techs and a lot of rifles. The diamond is, I mean, good lord, I don't know how many people I've seen. In every match I've ever been to. I mean, they're great.
There are a lot of them.
It was cool to see two really front runner great companies partnering up together. So it was awesome to see, and I'm glad to hear everything's going
Yeah.
rocking and rolling.
Things are going good. It's been good. We're actually, I mean, I don't know if I'm breaking out any news that's new, and it is what it is. I'm gonna talk about it. Like, we're working on a Tikka bottom metal, and working on our magazine to work with the Tikka and the Remington 700. It's going to be a little bit of lift. New bottom metal with a new inlet pattern. Foundation is actually working with us on that, and talking with McMillan and Banners. Um, all the other companies like Pure Precision, Iota, about inlets and making that stuff available. But we're getting ready November to release that with people know about the Tikka trigger. I get or see the social media posts. Every time TriggerTech posts, someone's like, "Where's the Tikka trigger?" And so we're working on that launch right now. It's actually like kind of consumed my life a little bit the last couple weeks, but that's stuff coming in early to mid November. The actual official launch and all that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it's kind of our big Tikkas have been on my like mind for. I was actually down at Alice Fire Club, speaking of Texas, and like Hill Country like building custom rifles on Tikkas. Seemed like there was well and they're extremely popular in Europe, because they're easier to get, like a lone peak, right? And so, we're looking to market a little bit better. There's also other companies that are offering products for Tikkas now. It's like the Tikkas kind of rising right now, and so we're just trying to, like, if people want to build out their Tikka bureau, we're focusing on like side with hunter stuff. We'll like round out the line out, but that's really new. We're just finishing up filming videos. All the product is very close to being ready already. We're just finishing the marketing side of it. So that's the big kind of push at the end of the.
That's awesome. Man, I'm seeing it too. Like the Tikas are everywhere, and customized Tikas are everywhere, and I'm seeing more and more and more of them. And like Phil Vallejo, I think has done a lot of really cool videos over juicing up Tikas and
Yeah.
some things like that. But yeah, they're so cool. I don't know. I just especially I had one way back in the day, one of the T3 lights,
Yeah.
300 Win Mag, and it shot good.
Yeah.
I think I sold it real fast.
Yeah. Just constantly.
Oh yeah, I mean it was I think the gun weighed like I don't know like 6.5 7 pounds with the scope. It just wasn't fun.
I mean, like so we have a rifle we built for this. If you think about it, it's interesting because you shot like this. It probably had like a composite, like a polymer composite stock.
Oh yeah,
And now, like, so we're working with all the stock manufacturers, but we purchased Foundation Ezekiel's and Gideon's for this launch that are cut for the Tikka. And so, like, we have a 300 pin mag, and when the testing and working through this launch, it was like, the shootability. Like, so if you do have a Tikka and you buy one and it's 6 pounds with the Vortex Razor, or like what would be stuff you put on it, super light, and let it speed. Instead of like, maybe going in a different direction or selling it, you might be interested in getting a different stock or economic, that's that might harder, like, that a dead feeling you get from shooting like a really well built stock, and you know, maybe
it would be a totally different gun.
it could be a totally different.
Yeah, yeah, and that's, I mean, the setup. Yeah, it was, and not knocking because the, the, and God, this was 15 years ago, but yeah, it was just the base little synthetic stock that it came with. But yeah, putting it in one of the new, hybrid lines would be pretty sick.
Yeah, like you just could really transform your rifle, and it's something you could do over time, and you wouldn't need to just drop everything all at once. But you could upgrade the stock and then change this out, and you could really like kind of transform the rifle over time. That might become the one you're thinking about selling to your favorite.
That's really cool. So you're gonna do the foundation hybrids with y'all's bottom metal and
Mhm.
mags for a
Yeah,
Tikka.
yeah,
That's freaking awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we've always offered like scope rings, like direct mount scope rings for the Tikkas, and you obviously can spin on any muzzle brake or, excuse me, anything you want. Yeah, now we'll find this is the first time we've ever introduced a bottom metal that's not for like the Remington 700. So for us, it's a it's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, yeah, big deviation. No,
Yeah,
that's super cool.
yeah.
Um, anything else new with Hawkins you wanna cover?
We're just trying to be as good as we can. I think we try to pride ourselves on good customer service. You could call and you might get me, you might get Tyler. We're just trying to keep up with what everybody needs, trying to get it to them in a timely manner, and make sure the biggest thing for us is make sure if you're building a custom Tikka, you're building a custom rifle on a titanium lone peak, very high end action. Like, the stuff that we consider that build that like lives up to that like rifle for you. But like that's always our big mission is to just make sure that your 5, 6, 7, $10,000 build like lives up to your expectations and rocks and rolls and takes critters or wins matches.
Yeah. Well, and I'll give y'all a lot of credit, and for those that listen to the show, I talk about it all the freaking time, but I've got Hawkins on I think literally every rifle, bottom medals, and especially rings and mounts, and I've won matches and podium matches, and gone on hunts, and there's a really big reason I put them on everything, and it's because they freaking work, and I love them. So guys, check out Hawkins. I love their products. I love the people. And, they're way take care of us and shooters. In the industry, they're just great people to work with and great products. So make sure you check out Hawkins on their website. Phalanx Arms is a dealer with them. I love them. And they have just a really solid product line that I use on everything. One, I'll thank y'all for everything you do for, as far as making awesome products, but then uh this this is where I think I am very fortunate. Like you said, being in the industry and getting to know you guys, like, and getting to know the people behind the companies, and everybody I've ever met with Hawkins, or gotten an opportunity to deal with, or shoot matches with, like, everyone is just like you, I mean, just fun people. They're good to hang out with. A lot of them are shooters and hunters, and it's awesome. It's a cool thing. And then now partnered with a company like TriggerTech, and same thing. So very, very, very cool.
Yeah, yeah. We try to be out in there as much as possible. You know, like I'm the regional director for the back PRS region. We run matches. We try to, and this is helpful for us to be on top of what's happening, what people are kind of, I'm shooting a lot of 22 Creed, so we need to have stuff available for people that are doing that, or whatever. Like, who knows in the world? It's always changing, but
Well, and
you,
that's one of the things I think is cool about y'all, is like, so I mean, y'all make good products, but there's, I like, some of the, like what you said, there's, you find the trends, and what, even if it's not, maybe like say the popularity of like the 6.5 Creedmoor where like everybody's using it, but like these Tikkas, y'all are finding there's a lot of people moving towards high end Tikkas and then providing a solution for it. Like with the new TM mount, like that's a super cool. That's a super cool system. When it comes available with all the new stuff that going on in
Yes.
PRS.
Yes. Sorry, everybody's.
Well, I mean, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat. Like the 3.5. Was it the 3.5 inch? Is that the
Yeah.
medium bottom metal for the 7 PRCs? Like that's freaking cool. Like that's a really cool system.
Yeah. Yeah. We worked with Tate with that at Impact. Yeah, 3.5 inch medium that will work with a 7 PRC. Or you can run like if you're a 300 min mag guy and you like running solids, don't need a lot of like light solids, not like the long, big, heavy ones, but like 150 grain 7 mil bullet. You could run that in a medium with a little weight on your right. It's kind of niche, but the cool part is like it'll work on an impact. It'll work actually on the medium, like the best for bats. It'll work on the specialty cut device. So if you are looking for like a niche system, we try to cover those areas, so that people have options.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's just stuff like that. I think, and like that 3.5, that medium, the 7 PRC medium setup, I just think is pretty, pretty slick.
It's pretty. It was pretty. That's also another nice rifle in our safe. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we do have our team now working on that. I'm guessing now probably gonna be more like December. Probably just be a 2026 launch like we talked about. That was something we released in shot, and then truthfully through the acquisition, the things that we needed to get ready for that as part of the managerial team. There's a lot of things that go into that we had to shelf some projects or delay them a little bit. And so, yeah, unfortunately, the team now was kind of the main sufferer of, a lot of needing paperwork and numbers and
Yeah,
all that.
business things that unfortunately you got to take care of.
Yeah, and so, but that is definitely they are cutting them right now, today, at this moment. So
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a cool one. But well, dude, thank you so much for coming on and joining the show, and thank you to Hawkins for sponsoring the show and being awesome people. For those listening, check out Nick. What's your Instagram?
my personal Instagram.
Do you do?
So
Sorry, one more time.
sorry, it's so long range depth is my Instagram, and then Pikes Peak Precision is our if you're in Colorado and you're seeing this and you're not aware and you're looking, like, that's our local precision rifle match club as well.
So check out Nick and Pikes Peak Precision and Hawkins Precision and TriggerTech. There's a lot of yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, and if you're local to Colorado, they're doing a lot of really cool things in your areas. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you to all the show sponsors: Hawkins, Alpha, Lone Peak, Hollis, Foundation, West Texas Ordnance, Raven Rifles, and Botnia. You guys are freaking awesome. I love you guys. Nick, dude, you're the freaking man. And
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.